He can break into the penalty area. Oh, what a finish from Bukayo Saka. He lashed it in from the edge of the penalty area. And once again, Arsenal's youngsters have really come to the party and they close in on the top four. First Smith Rowe and then Saka. It is Arsenal 2, Brentford 0.
Saka with the winner in, well, turned out to be the winner in the game live on talkSPORT 2 Saturday afternoon. So they're level on points with West Ham in 5th. They drew at Newcastle. Saka's got 5 goals in his last 6 Premier League games, Darren. The question is this, right? England, World Cup year. Should Saka, if just say England were picking a team for a game tomorrow, would he be a starter?
For me, yeah. I think he would. If you're talking of Gareth Southgate picks people on their current form, as you just rightly said, 5 goals in his last 6 Premier League appearances, I think you put him on the right-hand side and you let him do his stuff. He likes the players to cut in, don't he? Normally put Sterling on the left. He likes Foden, though, and that's the issue. And Foden is magnificent. What you can say is what an array of talent this English team have got at the moment, and Saka is well in there. Jared Bowen, I think we spoke about him off air. Another one. He has to get in the squad for me, in the next squad, for sure. And if he continues the form, he's in the World Cup squad for me, Jared Bowen. But yeah, if he's picking a game tomorrow, Saka's in it for me.
Quick question on Bowen. Has he got the right amount of pace at that level?
I mean, it remains to be seen. That's the one thing you'd question about him. But I think, what's he got, 7 goals, 7 assists in his last 9 games, something like that. I mean, that's a phenomenal record he's really stepped up when Antonio's kind of dropped a little bit. He's the one that stepped into his place. So remains to be seen whether the pace is an issue, but for sure he needs to be given a try.
It's really interesting though, because Raheem Sterling, just never lets England down. He's so consistently good for England. Phil Foden is brilliant, as you say. Mason Mount's always going to play if fit, and I totally get that as well. Harry Kane's always going to play if fit, so you're struggling for slots, but Bukayo Saka, I'm more than comfortable with him being in the England 11 every single time. If Arsenal don't make top 4 this season, his talents belong on the Champions League stage. I think he is made for Liverpool. I think he's a perfect Liverpool player with the energy he's got, his attitude, everything. I'd love to see him play under Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool in that system. But it feels to me like he's got a love for Arsenal. Am I being naive there? Because I'm sure you loved the club where you grew up, but it didn't stop you moving when the time was right.
No, and I think the time hasn't quite been right yet, and it will remain to be seen again if he has that love for Arsenal, because like you said, if they don't finish top 4, then the time is right, and whoever comes in, it'll cost a lot of money, don't get me wrong, because I don't think Arsenal will be easily selling him, so it'll cost a lot of money. And I mean, quickly back to that England thing, I'd play Mason Mount in a 2, by the way. Yes. Mount and Rice, that frees up maybe Foden to be the number 10, Grealish when he's on form, which then frees up the right hand side for Saka. For me, he has to be in it, and like I said, if they don't get into the top 4, that time is right for him to move on, because as you said, he belongs in the Champions League for me.
Your thoughts on that? 03717223344. And next up, we're talking about this man.
Fabinho has just sent a sensational goal in from some distance. Fabinho, who missed that free kick earlier, has picked the ball up probably 35 yards from goal, and he has driven the ball at an incredible velocity high into the left corner of Hennessy's goal.
Okay, so Fabinho has been scoring goals recently, but he is a CDM, central defensive midfielder. Jordan Henderson has come out and said this, Darren. This is Jordan Henderson's quote. "He's the best in the world for me in that position. He's incredible. He's a huge player for the way we play. When I play, to have him behind you is amazing." Fabinho, the best central defensive midfielder in the world. Do you agree?
Well, he's definitely in the conversation. I mean, firstly, and we spoke about this, Henderson's not going to come out and say Rodri is the best in the world. Of course he's not. But it's a tremendous comment from Henderson. And yeah, I've listed a few players.
Oh, go on.
I've put in the similar position. We've said Rodri. Kante, I think he always is in that conversation.
Are you sure?
Declan Rice, for me, he made a mistake at the weekend. I felt for him because one mistake and it ends up a goal. Calvin Phillips obviously has not played as much as he'd like for injury, but he was heading towards that, whether it was Rice making him look good, which has been the question mark, but he was up there. But there's 2 that I want to mention, Bissouma and Ndidi. Now, I think they are potentially top 4 players, particularly Basuma. He could play for a top 4 team. Now, because they don't at the moment, they're not really in that conversation, but they definitely could. But you can't really argue with Fabinho being the best player in that position right now.
I think Basuma's well worthy of being in that conversation. You're right. He wows me every time I see him. With Declan Rice, it's an interesting one because you're right. He did make a mistake at the weekend. That's how I used to head a ball at school when I was brave enough. He's actually looked even better when he stopped just being a central defensive midfielder, if you know what I mean. He's now. It feels to me like he's more of a box-to-box, full-energy, dynamic midfielder. So does he even fit into that position anymore? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, yeah, because I do agree with you. He used to play that role, and that's how good he is, because when he played that role, I would have him in that conversation. The fact he hasn't stayed in that role and he's actually developed this new box-to-box style, picking the ball up, driving. No, it's so hard to stop when he's in full flow. So it shows the talent that Declan Rice has got, and people say £100 million will get him, or he's not worth that. I think for a club in the top 4 wanting to progress to be title challengers, he would absolutely help that. So then he is worth 100 million. He's worth 100 million to West Ham because they're in the title in the race for the top 4. If they got to the top 4, West Ham, they sat in that 4th position. He's worth 100 million to them. He's worth 100 million to the club he's at. So shows how good a player he is, that when he was deep midfield, he would be in that conversation. But now he's a box-to-box midfielder. He's in the conversation for one of the best in that position as well.
Yeah, it's true. And he's still young, so 100 million actually isn't unreasonable in the current climate.